have a few safety reminders that run by it. Just remain seated at all times with his hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the vehicle, and just hang on to all of his loose articles. Because as you can probably already tell, it's going to be very, very bumpy right out there. And if you drop something, I will not be able to stop for it. Now, I can send more to retrieve it for you a little bit later on, so just let me know if you do drop something. Now we're going to hang tight here for just a few seconds to get that clearance to enter and let that truck get a little bit of spacing. In the meantime, up above you is our spotting guide, a little bit of teaser of what's to come, having all the animals housed on the reserve up there. I can't guarantee we'll see every single animal listed up there, but we're going to see lots of them, so that'll help us identify what we see. Now, if you want to take pictures, totally fine, just have those cameras ready. And I can't stop for every single animal, but I can stop for some, slow down for the rest, that way you can get a really good picture.
I'm fine.
We got that all clear to enter the reserve. So first off, it's going to be Little Missouri Forest. Now in the forest, it has very dense, thick vegetation, so more shy, reclusive animals who call this place their home. Now they do use camouflage coats to blend in with their surroundings, and it can be pretty hard to spot sometimes, so we'll just have to keep a really sharp eye out for them. Now, the first animal on the right-hand side is an okapi. Wasn't discovered until about 1901. Very shy animals. Now, you see the stripes on its legs. Well, okapis are not related to zebras. They're actually the only living relative to the giraffe. They do share very similar skull structure, and the best way to tell they're related is actually by looking at the head shape of that okapi, noticing it looks just like a giraffe's head. And they also have that long prehensile tongue as well, which does mean those okapis can lick their eyeballs. Now, okapis also have really, really good hearing. You can actually hear from over 2 miles away. But watering hole on the left side is usually a really good sign of more animals to come. So, you actually look up to your right-hand side. There's going to be 3 kind of tan, deer-looking animals up this hill, and those are called greater kudu. Now, greater kudu are one of the largest antelopes. They weigh about 750 pounds. Now, those 3 are actually females. A really easy way to tell they're females is actually by looking that they don't have any horns. Only males can have horns. As you see, those are females. Now, a little hard to spot. We should be able to see it when we move a little bit closer, but if you start to look off to your left, off that hill is a black rhino.
Oh, black rhino.
Now, they do weigh about...
Is that actually a black rhino?
Of course, they have no natural predators. Now, when it comes to rhinos, in fact, all species of rhinos, they are being poached very heavily for their horns, and when it comes to black rhinos, there's only about 5,000 of them left due to that. Now, off to my left-hand side, 2 different animals. You see that black and white bird is a saddle-billed stork. Now, can't really tell from here, but that bird's actually sitting down. That bird's about 5 feet tall. Now, just behind him, kind of hiding in the bushes, are bongo. Bongo are nicknamed the ghosts of the forest because they're so rarely seen. As you see, they tend to hide back there. But we're going to make our way into the next stop of the reserve, which is Safi River. Now, lately there's been some reports of hippos in the area, so let's see if we can't find any as we make our way through. No signs of hippos just yet, but if you look to your right-hand side, those black and white birds, those are called saddle-billed storks. Or excuse me, those are called pink-back pelicans, not saddle-billed storks. Now, they get the name pink-back pelican actually from the pink strip that appears in between their wings during mating season. And while pelicans are colonial nesters, so that means they can nest in groups of up to 500 of them. Now, they also have a wingspan of about 8 to 9 feet, and just to visualize that for you, 9 feet wide is also as wide as the canopy of this truck.
Where?
Don't see anything on that side. Now, on the left-hand side, I do see some Nile crocodiles. In fact, they're actually the largest species of crocodile in Africa. Now, these crocodiles can grow to be about 20 feet long and weigh close to 500 pounds.
Look on the weight.
Now, eating about half their body weight in a single feeding, they're pretty big eaters. As I mentioned, about 500 pounds, so half of 250 pounds of food consumed at one time. Now, since they eat so much food at one time, they only need to eat about once a week or every other week. But in the wild, when food's much more scarce, they've also been known to go months without eating. Now, pretty widely known that they have really powerful jaws, but what's really fascinating about crocodiles is when they lay eggs, what they do is they'll actually incubate their eggs in their mouth, and they'll even roll the eggs around in their mouth to get them to hatch much easier. Right now we're making our way into the savannah, and you can see this tree coming up on the right-hand side. That's a baobab tree. That is native to Africa, and you see the size that it's at now.
What's
well,
that?
About 100 years for it to get there.
It's like behind the scenes.
Now you also notice that tree looks sort of upside down. It is nicknamed the upside down tree, and that's just because its leaf is about 9 months out of the year. Looks like I see a few things coming off, kind of off in the distance. So I'm going to move a little bit quicker through this area and catch up to those animals, see if we can talk about them there. Now, we are coming up on some rock formations, which do look like possible signs of a den. So let's check it out, see if we can't find anything hanging around here. In fact, yeah, if you like to look inside the den, it's a little hard to see from here, so I'm going to move a little bit closer. But those are actually called African painted dogs. Now, not related to domesticated dogs in any way, despite looking just like them. These dogs actually only have 4 toes on each paw. Very cute animals, but
Where?
most dangerous and most successful hunters out there.
In the
They're
rock.
successful about 90% of the time.
Oh.
They hunt. Just to put that into perspective for you, lions, when lions hunt, they're only successful about 20 to 30% of the time. Now, there was actually 6 in there, all 6 of them are brothers. And when it comes to painted dogs, there's only about 1,400 left in the wild.
I think.
Off to my left-hand
Yes,
side
it
are
is.
some zebras, more specifically Hartman's mountain zebras. And if you see the hind legs, see those stripes are much thicker than the rest of the body. It's a really easy way to tell. Now, also over your left shoulder, in that back corner, those are called sable antelope. They're actually the emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. Now, those horns are really good at protecting them. They actually drop to their knees and throw those horns back, and that protects them from any predators. Now, when it comes to zebras, the striping patterns that they have is unique to each zebra, just like a fingerprint works in this. Now, within about 20 minutes of being born, their offspring's actually able to learn their mom's striping pattern. That way they can easily find her in the herd. That's because zebras can travel in pretty large herds. In fact, a group of zebras is called a dazzle.
I don't remember it.
Now, since they travel in those large herds, well, those stripes kind of look like an optical illusion, and they look like one large mass. That way they can deter any predators. And well, coming up on the right-hand side, going to the right, this kind of small spore-colored antelopes. Those are called springbok. Now, springbok get the name because they can spring about 6 feet straight up into the air. And if you just notice how small those springbok are, well, they can run about 50 miles an hour. They're actually one of the top 10 fastest animals in the world.
Yeah, that little thing. Springbok.
A bunch of giraffes around. They're all in Minneapolis.
Oh.
Walking right towards us is a giraffe, more specifically a side giraffe. That's what we house. A really easy way to tell is because the patterns are more jagged, rock-shaped.
She's coming right here.
Now, just behind this giraffe, laying in the dirt, those are wildebeest. In fact, we're going to get another look a little bit closer. Now, wildebeest live in very densely packed herds. Up to 1.5 million of them will migrate together in the wild. Also pretty well adapted to the hot climate, going about 5 days without a drop of water. Comes the giraffes on the left and the right-hand side, and a group of giraffes is called a tower.
Oh, look at them.
Tall family.
Look at them, Daddy.
8 feet tall and fully grown.
Oh, look at them.
Right there.
Aww.
Remember when we had
Aww.
Are you tired?
Can I
They're so cute.
It's really cool looking how it's sat down like that, right? The giraffes only do that when they feel safe. As you saw, it took them quite a while to get down. Well, it takes them the same amount of time to get up. So in the wild, if there's any threats, they don't want to be caught vulnerable. So they'll actually sleep standing up. Now when it comes to sleeping, giraffes only sleep about 30 minutes a day, so they don't necessarily have to worry about it. But they do sleep standing up. That way they can just open their eyes and run away if there's any threats in the wild.
Oh man.
Oh, another one!
Ew, he is pooping.
Another one!
They have this really long prehensile tongues. In fact, their tongues can be as long in inches as they are tall in feet. So let's say these giraffes are 20 feet tall. That means their tongue is about 20 inches long, about the size of your arm. Alright, looks like coming up on the right hand side, just a little bit further up ahead is the African elephant. Now, elephants are the largest land animal, weighing in at about 15,000 pounds when they're fully grown. But if you also look to my left, hanging out on this rock, a few mandrills. Mandrills are the largest monkey in the world. So it's kind of an awkward mix between a monkey and a baboon. Let's see if we can get a little closer to these elephants. Now, as mentioned, the largest land animal in the world. Well, elephants eat about 300 pounds of food in a day.
Elephant is right there.
Now, you can't really tell from here, but the reason they get the name African elephant is, well, obviously we're in Africa, but also if you see their ears are kind of shaped like Africa. Probably safe to say we should take this bridge very slow. We're poly, what they say in Swahili. Well, thankfully we made it across, so let's continue on heading a little bit deeper into the side. Now, you're going to start to notice these red clay walls coming up on both sides of the trucks, and they do look really hard, but these clay walls are actually pretty soft, and animals like elephants will actually scrape away the clay walls, just like you see on the right-hand side, and not only do they break it up, but elephants also eat that red clay. It's like a natural multivitamin too. Actually, if you look over your left shoulder.
Oh, hello, elephant.
Aww.
Where is it? Oh.
But now you can take notice of the ear. Notice how it's shaped just like Africa. Now, elephants are very social animals. A lot of my males turn about 15 years of age. They actually break off from the herd and go off on their own. Now, when it comes to females will actually stay together for their whole life, and they'll travel in those herds. In fact, a group of elephants is called a memory. If you look over to your left, you should see the baby. The baby is actually 6 years old.
Where?
Right there, that little baby.
And you get a really good look at them using those prehensile trunks to grab onto that food to bring it closer to their mouth. Now, if you also notice on the right-hand side, these massive horns poking out of the bushes. Oh, those are horns of an Ankoli cattle. And believe it or not, those are domesticated animals. Now, those horns going to be about 4 feet long. They're not actually very heavy. They're actually hollow inside.
Oh, I found one. That's the one. Yeah.
Oh, if you notice the backs of these elephants are a little bit dirty, well, that's done on purpose. Elephants get sunburned, so they'll put dirt or sand on their back to act as natural sunscreen for them.
That's a lot of water. But this vehicle can handle it.
Now, coming up on the left, these are greater flamingos. They're actually the largest species of flamingo. Now, a group of flamingos is called a flamboyant. And when they're hatchlings, flamingos are not called flamingos, they're called flamingos. Now, Hey, notice the legs of these flamingos actually bend the opposite way of ours. Well, that's because the joint you see that's about halfway down their leg is not actually their feet, that's their ankle.
Over here. Here. No, down here.
Now, as you make your way to the east side of the savannah, if you look to my left-hand side, you may notice a few rhinos underneath the palm trees. Now, those look like white rhinos. So white rhinos weigh about 5,000 pounds, so about 2,000 pounds more than a black rhino. But actually, the biggest difference is the amounts of how they eat. Well, black rhinos have what's called a prehensile upper lip, so they use that to eat from bushes and small trees, whereas white rhinos have a wide mouth, so they actually graze along the ground for their food. In fact, white rhino actually comes from not their whitish color, but white is actually a mistranslation of white, which means wide, because of their wide mouths. Now, a group of rhinos called a crash.
Are they sleeping?
Eyesight, so they crash into each other quite a bit.
Are they sleeping?
Now, it looks like just up ahead on the left, I see a little bit of movement.
See you up there?
That's a cheetah.
There's one walk around, there's actually one laying down in the back left corner.
I see it.
Now, cheetahs are the fastest animal in the world, topping out at about 60 miles an hour. In fact, they can get to that speed in just about 3 seconds. Now, cheetahs do have pretty terrible endurance, so only lasting that speed about a minute or so. And so they actually heavily rely on their camouflage. If you notice that spotted coat pattern works really well during sunlight. And they use it to creep up on their prey so they can pounce on them rather than run long distances, because they're pretty bad at running long distances.
Yeah, right there.
Now, off to the right-hand side are a few ostriches.
Oh, ostrich!
We'll talk about those ostriches in just a second.
Ostrich is right over here.
I want to focus your attention to the left-hand side. So it's coming up.
Laying down on their eye. He's laying right on the line. You see him? Right there.
It's just like the lion.
Looks like just behind us is a female.
The female's right there too.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Now, lions are mainly nocturnal animals. They spend about 20 hours of the day sleeping or resting, serving energy for nighttime. That's when they are most active. 20 hours a day.
That's a lot of hours.
Lions have about the same eyesight as us. Now, at nighttime, they have close to 6 times of that. So, of course, making more sense to hunt at night. And when it comes to hunting, it's not the males that do the hunting, it's actually the females. The males will stay behind, and they watch over the pride or any cubs that they have. But as promised, another look at those ostriches on the right-hand side. Now, ostriches only have 2 legs, but they're still the fastest land bird. They can run about 40 miles an hour.
Another ostrich.
You see, all of them have a more lightish colored gray feathers. That's the best way to tell those are females. Males have much darker colored feathers. Now, ostriches do have wings, but thankfully they cannot fly. Those wings are pretty useful for them. They actually help them turn while they're running. Now, if you have never seen an ostrich egg, today's the day that'll change. Just look to your right-hand side. As you see, much larger than a chicken egg. And in fact, one of those eggs weighs the equivalent of about 2 dozen chicken eggs. They're about 4 pounds each. Now, they're also much stronger than a chicken egg. In fact, a full-grown adult could stand on just one of those eggs without them breaking.
Whoa. Do you see that?
But now we're crossing into Magadi Glenman. Coming up, this is our ordnance post, and looks like I see something moving around out in front. And these are Nigerian dwarf goats, getting that name from their size. These are all full-grown adults. But these goats are also really social, playful animals. what's really cool about these goats is they have really, really good balance, which makes these goats great climbers. So they do tend to hang out on top of the roof, or really wherever they can climb up onto, which includes the Jeep.
Oh, they'll climb up on here. Oh, the crocodile will eat it.
Now, if you want to get up close and personal with those dwarf goats, well, you can. To do that, you're going to head over to Rafiki's Planet Watch. It's actually in Africa. So we can take that short train ride over to Conservation Station. There they have affection sections. We'll have some dwarf goats, some pigs, donkeys, cows, and sheep for you to pet. So lots of fun for the whole family. Also some areas with some AC, and some areas to relax. So you can also learn to draw some of Disney's most famous animated animals. So a nice little change of pace. I do highly recommend that. Now, we saw lots of amazing animals out there, but unfortunately most of those animals we saw lots of places some conservation struggles. Now, you can't change that. I recommend just doing a little bit of research. You can find ways to help, even from the comfort of your own home. Just being more conscious of the water you use, continuing to recycle, just making sure you're not buying any animal products or any products that are tested on animals.
How can the vehicle handle all that water?
Now, if we're going to do what Harambe means in Swahili, we just come together. That way we can have a better future for these animals, and then future generations will get to enjoy them just like we got to today.
The end. Look, there's the train.
Now, anyone in this Explorers on board, you're going to turn to page 14 of the Explorer book, and your code word that you're looking for is SIMBA 1, it's S-I-M-B-A,
Look.
and the number 1. And then you'll visit that Wilderness Explorer just outside our exit, so you actually run right into them. But now's the time to start gathering your personal belongings together, checking your rows for any loose articles, because unfortunately, it's about time to part ways. Now, here in Harambe, we do not like to say goodbye, because that's just too sad and too final. So instead, we'll say one more Swahili phrase, and that Swahili phrase is kwaherini. Kwaherini does mean to go well, so I hope you all go well today. But also, hopefully we all enjoyed ourselves out there today, maybe even learned a thing or two out there. And once again, my name is Cameron, and I come all the way from Jacksonville, Florida.